All right. Give me a minute, y'all. This is not my thing. And so anxiety likes to take the moment. Kaya, can I get you to get a chair and get to this door? I need my purpose, the reason to stand in the room, in my eyesight, because I'll leave through that door. And y'all be sitting here waiting on me to come back, and I won't. So I need the reminder on why I'm here. I need the reminder on why you bring your anxiety, why you show up regardless. Because I got somebody following behind me that's watching me win. And y'all, I came today deciding that I was okay with having a system failure. See, I've been masking this anxiety. I've been working with it, but not working through it. So I put strength over here because my friend over here, when I talk crazy to myself, she talks right to me. When I don't believe that I can stand in the moment, she reminds me. And then she prays in a different way because she prayed like she loved me. And so I put her at this door so I can remind myself not to walk out that door and go up that elevator, get in my car, and leave y'all sitting here. I decided that all of the things that I do to mask my weakness would die today. So I decided to fail. I decided to fail today. God is going to win, but the wrestler and the runner are losing. The wrestler who wrestles with God on what he says and what he says about me. And then y'all start talking and accidentally calling me things that he calls me in private. And then, then Minister D gets on the mic and tell y'all me and God's business. That's why you got to have a big sister in your life. You got to have one. I don't know about y'all, but I can't get nowhere without having some wisdom somewhere in my life that tells me who I am when I don't talk to me right. See, so this is a personal moment that you get to enjoy or be with me in because, I don't know, you might go through this stuff too. So anxiety came today. It's been here all week. In fact, if you see my hands, you see eczema. I wish I had pockets and had a little lapel mic so that way you wouldn't have to see it, but you're going to see it. And here's what it is. It's all over this week. It's all over this week. And it's all over because anxiety wants the moment. Ian wanted the moment. Sickness wanted the moment. And God said, no, keep going. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So when her came up, in fact, I'll share a little more. When her came to my mind, God he orchestrated everything. If you went from the foot washing to everything, he orchestrated all of it. And yet, when I started working on speakers, I was being a little disobedient. I was finding good speakers and spots and all of that. And Cherie and I had talked some time ago, and Cherie said, you're supposed to be on program. And I said no, but I knew I was. I can't give you what you need in the private moments and inspiring and telling you to go and grow. And I won't even walk it out myself. Do I believe what I'm saying? Do I believe the God that I serve? When he says, come to me, all who have labored and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He decided that, yeah, the wrestler is going to lose and the runner can't run because I'm going to block every door. You're going to have to stand in the room and in the match and fight. That's what rising looks like. Rising sometimes looks like you just went through a whole battle and a half. Rising sometimes looks like, I don't know, like you've been in a hurricane and you're glad you made it out. So today, when I read Matthew 11:28 and it's saying, come to me, I'm like, Lord, I was sitting back there trying to get my head together, and it sounded like my grandmother was calling me. You know, I had one of those grandmothers. I was raised by my grandparents. I had one of those grandmothers that would call you, and you didn't say, what, or coming. You said, ma'am, yes, ma'am, and your feet were moving. Like they had to hear you coming down the hall. And by the time they finished calling your name, you were in front of them. Elevation looks like that. God is not, he will come where you are, but he's going to go back and say, hey, you're supposed to be over here. So Minister Lipscomb, come. That's what he's going to say. He's going to say, Angie, come. He's going to say, McQuana, come. And you sitting there, no, or at least I do. I can't speak for you. I'm going to speak for me. Nope. I ain't coming. God, I can't. It's impossible. I know that's what I said. I said it when I saw this moment 15 years ago. I said it when I saw this moment 15 years ago, and I said, I've been in this deep prayer, this deep thing, and, God, show me my purpose. And then he showed me you guys. And I said, I can't, I won't, I can't. Nope, not doing it. Not me. That must be my mind. Absolutely not. And then he worked out something in me. And so what I decided was I was going to half obey and just serve in those areas. I just serve in those areas. That way, I know I'm still doing what he say, but that's that half obedience. Let me tell y'all, that thing don't work. It don't work. Half obedience don't work. So you can half do a job, and do you get promoted? Oh, okay. All right. So now anxiety has calmed down just a little bit because I can see your faces. And I just want to tell y'all, whenever my anxiety is up, my eyeballs shake. So I can't read this stuff up here. I got to come off the dome or from what God say. So I don't even know where we're going with this because right now my eyeballs are shaking. So did Tina just turn up the mic? My voice scared me. So I'm going to take a moment and ask you, what is elevation to you? What's elevation? When you hear that word or rise, what is it to you? Lady Tanika? Huh? To go higher. Do better. Move beyond. All those are great answers. Great responses. Webster's dictionary defines it as an action of elevating or being elevated. Sometimes we go up and down this elevator. It also defines it as going to a higher level. Well, because me and God have private moments, usually when I'm going to get in the tub, and I don't know why he decides to whoop me when I'm naked, but it's what happens. And as I was wrestling with teaching this workshop at this conference, the Holy Spirit explained to me why my anxiety goes on 10 for public speaking. To me, elevation is responsibility. He said, that's why you don't like titles. Like, y'all, for real, I itch when y'all say deaconess. I itch. I'll do the work. I'll do all of it. But when you put the title on it, it publicly tells people what my responsibility is. And that right there, whoo-wee. The only title I'm kind of okay with is wife and mother. I'm okay with those. Everything else, you ain't got to call me nothing. I mean, now you might get some words back. You call me outside my name, but because I ain't delivered all the way. So when he dealt with me on the fact that when I get the title, I get the responsibility, I shrink. I don't know. Anybody else do that? Yeah. I know some people like the titles. For me, it's not. It feels like, oh my God, I'm incapable. And then he said, all right, in Luke 24, when I threw at him, because I threw at him, like I can tell God what's in his word. I said, and out of Luke 24:28, I said, I shouldn't even be talking about doing nothing like this if I ain't count up the cost because I ain't got enough to complete it. I don't. I can't complete it. Then he said something crazy back to me. He went to James 4:10 and said, humble yourself before the Lord, and I will lift you up. He said, you need to let your pride sit down because I created you. Therefore, I know what's in you. You have some stuff in you right now that you think you can't do, that you think is impossible. And I'm going to tell you the truth. In your strength, it is. If you're going off your best thinking, your best mind, your best whatever, it's not enough. But in him, you get right there where he called you. You get back to where he said, come. You go there and you can do it all. It is impossible for you to do it in just your strength. But you have to be willing to say, okay. So I had to get out of my pride and say, ooh, because I realized that's what it was. When I told him I know better than him, I can't. He said, you're right. You can't. But I didn't ask you to do it. I just asked you to submit. I just asked you to show up. And I'm going to step in and I'm going to do what's necessary. I'm going to speak. I'm going to say. I'm going to bless. I didn't ask you to do nothing. So, I was like, okay, that was my butt whooping. So you guys heard a little bit of my spanking. I hope I got something here for you, but I just want you to know this was not easy. Far too often we associate elevations with only titles. We've watched something in the past few weeks. We just saw a prince become king, and it was all because his mama died. It wasn't necessarily off of his work. It wasn't necessarily off of his service. It was because he was born at the right birth order at the right time, and he was still alive when she died. Any given scenarios would change that. However, the amazing thing about God is he doesn't require that somebody else die for you to rise. He requires that you die. Die to what the world made. He requires that you sit all the way down so he can rise up and do everything that you see in your head. And I ain't talking about the stuff. No, I'm talking about the stuff that you know he called you to, the places he's put you, the places he said, okay, I need you to go over here and build that community ministry, Sean, and I need you to go over there and knock on them doors and show up. And then you like, wait a minute, them people don't want to hear me. They don't want to see me. They don't know. I don't know what they need. And he said, go. And I'll send the people who you need to help serve them. And everything that you need to do it is in your head. But I can't get it in this earth till you at least go. We are so afraid to show up for where he's called us because we're running that list, you know, that unhealed list, that coping list, you know. Right now, I got someplace over here that the enemy is screaming every single thing I've done that disqualifies me for this moment. I know me better than any of you know me. I know who I have hurt and what I have said and what I haven't said better than any of you. Yet he said, I called you to this moment. He's called you to some moments, some places, some things so that people can begin to heal. They waiting on you to sound your voice. They can't hear what they need until you sound your voice. They're over there dying in the desert because ain't nobody brought them water, and you got a camel and some. Get up and go. Elevation looks like that. We ain't stuck on the bottom floor. We ain't waiting on the queen to die before we rise up. All he asked you to do was die to your pride. Die to you. Die to what the world said about you. You know, I could bring a bunch of people in here that can run a list. I think we all got some. It cannot happen until you say, okay, and that's who I used to be, but okay. All right, bring it on. It's nothing that you can stand in front of me and say that I'm not afraid to say, okay, I might have done that. Yeah, I did that. I might, you know. I also realize I'm a little scared sometimes because the Holy Spirit tell me to say stuff that I did, and, you know, I got to check statute of limitations on some stuff. Okay. So if y'all see me have a moment, that's what it is. Like, all right. Elevation also requires you to see things from a different viewpoint. If you've ever flown, you look at a city from there and you're looking down and you don't see all the roadways. You see the way, but you don't see that that's this road. That's this road. Oh, that's my house. No, you see it from a different vantage point. See it from the 45,000-foot vantage point. Let me just tell you something. Everything else seems insignificant once you get to that vantage point. It doesn't seem as important when you're looking at it from the higher level. There's something about, oh man, that place looks beautiful. But your pain was there. But if you hadn't gone through your valley of pain, you couldn't have got to that place. Your hurt was there. People who hurt you is in that same city that now looks beautiful from the 45,000 view vantage point. But somehow, when you're looking up from up there, you just kind of look and you're like, man, I used to live there. I used to be there. When you're moving from healing to coping, from coping to healing, and you evaluate, that's what happens. You say, I used to live in Victimville. I don't live there anymore. I'm just passing through. Tell you, get out of Victimville. That tell you, Miss Shirlene, there's nothing in Victimville. Come on, we're going to get up and we're going to go. That's what elevation looks like. Does not mean that you forgot that you lived there. It just means I don't live there no more. So I encourage you to take the moment and say, all right, I'm going to rise above this situation. I'm going to rise above what this pain caused. There's some lessons that you would have never learned if you had not been in that place. If you hadn't been there, you would have never learned it. For a long time, I viewed my life as an accident, as evidence. See, I'll give y'all a little bit of this. My mother was molested and raped. And here I am. See? She had to look at her pain. She had to birth her pain. Oh, that'll preach. When she looked at my lighter skin, this mole on my face, my smaller feet, all of those things were points of pain for her. And while she loves me, and we have a wonderful relationship now, she loves me, there were times where she hated me. So real talk, because of that, I can handle people hating me in real life. It don't even bother me. I've been hated by closer, please. Don't speak to me. It don't make me move. I won't even notice because I've been through it. So it don't stop my momentum. Your not liking me does not change my momentum. Okay, well, but if I had never been through that, I would not know how. I would stumble over friendships. I would stumble over brokenness. Why they don't like me? I'm be honest with you. Sometimes I don't understand that. I come from it from another place. Peer pressure, didn't understand it. Because I had already been in a place of not needing people to like me, to thrive. So can you imagine that? I want you to take a moment to thrive. Children need to thrive. But if there's times where she loved me and hated me, where were the hugs? Yeah. Y'all can go and give that to somebody else, because the truth is, I'm okay. If somebody came up to me and called me a bastard right now, it's okay. Yes. That's no place. There was a time where it affected me. It doesn't anymore. See, I walked in it and sat in church where I was told that because of how I came about, you were never going to heaven. That was some Old Testament teaching. So imagine growing up in church, sitting there and being called the devil because this person over here jumping and shouting, this one jumping and shouting, this one over here speaking in tongues. You sitting there like that because you done already been told the God that we serve is not for me. I had to wrestle through all that to get to this moment. That's an elevation, y'all. That I can look at it and say, I needed it in my life because I can still grow with it. It fertilized my soil. It made me stronger. So you can't uproot me. Ian couldn't come blow me. Yup. They texted me saying, you're going to cancel. I said, I ain't feeling it. Your like don't matter. My growth matters. Elevation means that you are more committed to your growth than making people happy. Elevation does not need to be in the perfect environment. You do not need to be in the perfect environment to rise. You are not bread that you need the leaven in there. If it's too cold in the kitchen, it might not rise. If it's too hot in the kitchen, it might not rise. And then if it's too much noise, it's going to fall. If you do what God tells you to do, you going to rise. And it don't matter what your mama did, what your daddy ain't, and what your friends say. You going to rise because you stay focused. All right, so I'm going to tell you, here's how I kind of got through that, though. I want y'all to catch up with Joseph in Genesis 41, 50 to 52. Genesis 41, 50 to 52. Because I believe everything, you need a word on it to understand it. I used to do these focus points with these kids right here. Well, you know, she wanted 3. But I'd give them quotes, and then I give them a scripture to stand on the quote. So they would understand everything has to have a foundation. So, just to tell you don't need the perfect environment to rise, here's a biblical example. Because Joseph, if you go back and read, and if you don't know Joseph, please read up on him. Because Joseph went through. He was betrayed by his brothers, thrown in a pit, sold into slavery, and you name it. Joseph stayed the same, regardless of what happened to him. He didn't use it as a waddling place. He was like, all right, they did this, all right. I'm still going to be who I am. And then he had 2 sons. 2. The first one he named Manasseh. Means forget. He said, God made me forget my hardship in my parents' home. Now, for him to say that means he didn't forget, but he forgot the pain. Because he rose up regardless of the pain. He didn't let it determine his altitude. Now, let me just tell you, right now, he got the king's ring. He went from slave to second in command. The king said, you don't do, my people ain't going to do nothing without coming to talk to you. You make all the plans. He went from that to the king saying, here, take my ring, and you running things. It was all because he responded to his places of pain well. He took every lesson. When you are in victimville, you're not taking the lessons. You looking and saying, whoa, oh, no. That's what you're doing. Instead of looking and saying, wait a minute, I ain't trying to do this again. I ain't trying to be out here 40 years circling around in the desert. Let me see. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I responded wrong here. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have responded to you like that. Okay. Oh, I got a little further. I got about 2 steps. All right now. I cussed you out last week. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to cuss you out. Because I ain't trying to stay in that place. I'm not going to tell you I cussed you out because I had pain and you caught me at the wrong time. I'm going to go ahead and say, my bad. I shouldn't have cussed you out. I'm going to respond right. That's elevation. Just because you used to do it don't mean you got to do it now. Just because that's who you used to be, but you ain't got to, who I used to be ain't who. If I was who I was at 20, at 47, I'd be in prison. That's real. He named his second son Ephraim. It means double prosperity, saying, God has prospered me in the land of my sorrow. Again, your environment does not determine what God's going to do in you. You take that pain and you put it to work. I put it to work. Now, sometimes I probably dealt with it a little bit different, like I shouldn't have, by saying, I ain't got no friends, I only got associates. That was crazy. That was crazy. That was real crazy. And it was because I viewed, if family did me like this, what y'all gonna do? What you gonna do? I can't trust you. God said, you can't grow without them. You need them. And I got another answer for that pain. I got another answer for it, and it is connecting. You ain't gonna rise without them. So when it all came down to it, I had to look and recognize not only was there no perfect environment, that you can't elevate without people. You need people. I can't stand in this room without some people. I couldn't have got to this moment without some people. Today would not have happened without some people, the council, the volunteers, you, us, my husband, all of those. So when you decide to get excuse me, on the island and say, I could do it all by myself, lies you tell. See, because even in that story, when you go back and read the whole thing, how he got to the king was some people. He got to the king because some people was locked in a house because they was in trouble, and he was a slave. He was a slave in the house. Y'all, he was a slave in the house. And they had 2 separate dreams. And he interpreted the dreams. So when the king had 2 separate dreams, he like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means. They said, Master, sir, I got somebody. I got somebody. I got somebody that could tell you about this dream. He was a slave when he interpreted their dreams. He was second in command by the time he got to, after he talked to the king. It took the people to bring him to the king. You think you gonna go places by yourself? You can, but you ain't gonna get as far as you need to go. You gonna go, but you ain't gonna grow. We have to understand as women of God, we have to stop doing the isolation thing. We're dying because of it. Depression is taking us because won't nobody come up in the house and say, look at here. Come on, we going out. You need to get out of here. When we look at, let them say things to themselves. I got friends that don't let me talk any kind of way to myself. I say I can't. They say you can and you will. Then you get mad. I say I won't. They say yes, you will. And come on, we're going to do it together. You say, no, he broke my heart. They say it's another one out there. Don't worry. Come on. He wasn't the one in the first place. Now, the one that get in the car with you to go break the windows, they don't need the sugar in the tank. I mean, she might be a ride or die, but you ain't trying to, we too old for that. Yeah. I'm just being real. I know that feel good, but that ain't the one you call. That ain't the one you call when your heart is broken. You call sense. You call Minister D, she gonna talk sense to you. I'm gonna tell you, just in case somebody wondering who you need to call, I ain't got nobody with sense. All my friends crazy. Or I won't say crazy. All my friends will go crazy with me. You need Minister D, she ain't gonna go crazy with you. She talk to you right. Get her number. Get her they stop talking to me after I talk to them right. They do. They do, because I'm like, what in the world? Girl, please. Come on. You ain't know he. Then they get mad now, They don't call me. Mr. D, talk him off the ledge. So if you need somebody to talk you off the ledge, that's, just in case you were wondering. I ain't got nobody. That's a good one. There's a couple good ones in here. Mother Carter, too, right there. She a little quiet storm. As a young woman, I understood the importance of wise counsel. You will not go as far as you need to go without having wise counsel. You need wisdom in your life. So next thing I looked and I said, God, you done gave me what elevation looks like, or things we need when we elevate. He said, elevation does not require you to look the part. It don't. That's my most important piece here, because we will spend more time trying to put on the show and you ain't got to look the part. Sometimes elevation means I'm showing up, hair a mess, makeup, I might have one eyelash on, no shoes. I made it. All right, movie just came to my mind. Dear God, I might be black, I might be ugly, but I'm here. That's it. Sometimes that's what it means. I made it. I didn't know I had wings. He told me to mount up on it, but I didn't know. He had to rip my clothes for me to know I got wings. He told me to mount up. I can fly. I didn't know, but now I know. Now I know. Excuse me. I probably should have took that water. No, it's okay, because I'm almost done, because he about to leave, and I feel my head hurting. He about to leave. So, if nothing else, ladies, as we're moving forward, you need to know that you don't have to come from the right environment. You ain't got to have look the part, and that you need some people to help get you there. He did not make this a singular thing. And that's how we get to Isaiah 40:28-31. And it says, have you heard? Have you never understood? The Lord is the everlasting God, creator of all earth. He never grows weary. Y'all, he don't get tired. No one can measure the depths of his understanding. You didn't understand why you went through that, but I did. That's what he said. I understood it. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. You never expected to bury your sister. Didn't expect it. Didn't plan it. Didn't think it out. I didn't expect to bury my sister. Didn't expect to bury my niece, her oldest daughter. Didn't expect it. But he gave strength. He gave understanding in the moment. And then as we're moving forward, we're working through the pain. But what I thought I couldn't do, you can do. And it's not because you walked on Trina's strength. It's because you walked in his strength. He said, even youth will become weak and tired, and young men will fail in exhaustion. I don't care how young they are, they still get tired. They get tired of battling. Balon is very, very honest about sometimes she's tired of battling. But he gives strength to you. He sends people alongside you if you let him. That when you are weak, they become strong. And they speak to your place. They talk to you right. When you talking to you wrong, you let them. He said, but those who trust in the Lord will find new strength, and they will soar high on wings like eagles. Y'all, I'm about to fly in here. I don't know. But he said, I can fly. They will run and not get weary. Now, that part I ain't tested out because I don't like running. They will walk and not get faint. If you serve it in the right place, you could be as tired as you want to be. I ain't slept in 2 weeks. And I know when I get home, I ain't going to sleep. I got stuff I'm still going to do. We still going to clean this church, and then I'm going to get home, and I'm going to watch my son's game because they playing right now. I ain't going to sleep. He said, and no, I'm not going to get faint when I'm serving. You wondering why you exhausted? It's because you serving you. Serve him and you'll get there. All right? You was walking in tired, needing coffee. And then all of a sudden, different type of energy shows up. So I don't know if y'all got something to grow on, but I pray you did, because I'm done. I ain't got nothing else. I got like 50 books of notes, 50 pages, but I'm done. We gonna give it back. Thank y'all. Good night.